All right, everyone. Well, welcome to our weekly webinar workshop for this week. Our topic is Top 10 Q&As. I'm your host, Johnny Yarbrough. I'm the agency ambassador here at Appulate. I wanted to introduce myself and this week's topic. Each week, we do a short, bite-sized little training session and then a Q&A section at the end where I'm going to open it up to you guys so you can ask some questions that maybe I didn't cover during our little session, or something that you may have had kind of stewing about while you're using Appulate, or just you're curious about in general. So at the end of this, we're also going to do the same type of thing. So feel free to ask some questions. I'm going to show you how you can do that in just a second. But first of all, I want to show you how you can check out some of the webinars coming up, such as these weekly webinar workshops or mid-month mixers, where we like to have a couple panelists, sometimes from carriers in different markets, to answer your questions as well. We talk about some technology upgrades and some stuff that we have coming out. Also, we have our full training and premium demos and training that come up at least a couple times a month, and more. So to check that out, if you're on the home page or even within Appulate, you can find this little button here in the bottom right-hand corner. You can click on that and see what's coming up. So at the end, if you will, feel free to ask some questions. There's no stupid questions. I really mean that. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm going to answer them the best I can. And also, I'm recording each one of these sessions. I'm going to stop the recording when we get into our Q&A, so you don't have to feel like it's going to be recorded and put up somewhere. You can ask whatever you feel like you need to. And there's two ways to do that. So you can raise your hand on the left-hand side by clicking this little hand icon. That way it'll let me know that you want to say something. I'll unmute you so that you can ask that question, so we're not all trying to talk over each other. You can ask it and then I'll answer it the best I can. Also, if you'd like to just type a question, there's a little question box. This is all on your side panel, so make sure you open that up and you can ask a question right there, and I'll read it out and answer it for you. So let's jump right in. This is our number one question. Who is Appulate? So I created a little definition here, which is not in the dictionary yet, maybe one day. But we describe it as a noun, really. Well, we're a company. We're a technology company based out of California. We specialize in automation software, streamlining and automating the submission process for not just retail agents, but MGAs, carriers, wholesalers, anybody who's basically in the insurance marketplace or works in the insurance arena. We have a technology that's going to be available for you to help streamline your submission process. It's also a way to connect retail agents to new markets, existing markets, anybody who you're essentially trying to get a quote from. We've developed a way to streamline that, make it a little bit easier, help connect you to new avenues for quotes, and of course, better technology. We also say, we call it a verb, which is appulate it. That's kind of a newer term for us. And what that means is basically anytime you're submitting to your markets, we call that verb appulating it. So the act of using Appulate to streamline or automate your workflow. So anytime you're using Appulate in your workflow, you want to appulate it. So like it says down here, instead of emailing it or faxing it, just appulate it. And that can include our technology, where we basically have a tool called Uplink, which installs as a print driver, and you can start from your core document or in your agency management system, which we work with any agency management system. You can then appulate it using Uplink into our system, which then you can manage your submissions and send them to your various markets, carriers, MGAs, whoever you're trying to send it to. Let's keep on moving forward. Is it hard to learn? No, not at all. Actually, Appulate is one of the easier technologies out there to learn. It's pretty user-friendly. Like I said here, it's easy to learn Appulate. It's actually quite simple, and we have a lot of training that's available, which I'll go into here in just a minute. And I see some software out there, including agency management systems, are difficult. They're meant to replace existing process or piece of technology. They can have a lot of different things that they do. Appulate definitely has a lot of different tools and features. However, it is very user-friendly and intuitive. It's designed to supplement your current workflow and reduce keystrokes and redundant data entry. So the whole point of Appulate is to make your life easier. So we tried to make sure that this technology is also easy to learn, easy to adopt, and easy to integrate with your current workflow. Which brings us to the next question. Is training available? Yes, there's so much training that we have available. I'm actually the one who does a lot of our training, especially for our retail agents. I'm always available. There's many ways to get a hold of me and schedule training, demos. There's also stuff that's already online, so I'm going to go over that here in just a moment. Some of that would include our webinars, like the one that you're in right now, demos. We do a lot of different demos, whether it be live or we actually have a lot of our demos recorded, like we would record this and then have in our video section or on YouTube. And I'll get to that later so you can see where to find those. Virtual training, so I can actually get online with you. We can set up a time where we can view each other's screens. I can help you out through setting up or just using some of the various tools in Appulate. We've got an e-learning module, which is really, really cool. I'm going to show you where that is here in just a moment so you can check that out. But essentially, it's a module that we built that's all online. It's very new. I think it's about a couple months old or just a little over that. And essentially, it's a series of videos and hands-on training so you can get inside and see Appulate first from a high-level standpoint. How does it work? How does it go from the accord all the way to submitting and getting a quote? We'll take you through that whole thing, and then we'll break down each section, each tool, so you have a good idea of not only what it is, but how it works and what it looks like. Those are all broken down in nice, easy to absorb videos. We've got our videos where it's those and more. We've actually got a lot of demo videos. We've got all of our workshops recorded. You can check out those videos. We try to record all these sessions so you don't miss out on anything. If you do miss a section like this where you go, oh, darn it, I didn't have time to make it to that webinar, but I definitely wanted to see it. Well, don't worry. We always put those up so you can check it out. We've also got a handbook for those of you who want to download something, actually hold something in your hand or just read it. We've got plenty of stuff for you to read as well. Also, I went ahead and included this link here. This is my scheduling tool. It's actually pretty neat. You can click on this at any time. I'm going to bring that up right now. If you ever want to schedule some time with me, all you have to do is use that link. Feel free to write that down. I'll also have it at the end, or my email address will be at the end. You can email me for this link. If you want to choose a time, you go ahead and pick that, and then you can select the day that you want to pick, and then pick a time and lock it in. You can also change that if you want to cancel it as well. So I like to show that off. Let me come back here. We've also got a resources section in Appulate. So once you're logged in, this resources section is a little question mark next to your name in the top right-hand corner. And in just a second, I'm going to have this open up so you can see what that looks like. And this is where a lot of the resources and training and information lives. Like I was just talking about, here's your little handbook. And along the top, if you just kind of move from left to right, you can see some of these things. So we've got different articles for you to read. We've got training. This is where that e-learning program is I was just talking about. So definitely check that out. We've got our video tutorials. We've got all the webinars right here. So if you click on that, you'll see that we have different type of training and webinars that we've recorded right there. And then, of course, a way to contact us so you can reach out immediately and ask about some questions or concerns you might be having, and I'll be happy to get out to you as soon as possible. Our next question, what if I don't have the time? Well, we all struggle with that. So everything in your life, I'm sure, is busy as it is mine, but sometimes you have to find the time to invest in things like this, because at the end of the day, once you integrate something that automates your workflow or helps make it a little bit easier, it's actually going to help save you a lot of time. And I'm going to show you the numbers to back that up here in a second. Learning how to Appulate it is simple, but also a time saver and a money saver. So finding the time to learn and implement Appulate will be the best decision you can make for your agency. And I truly mean that. Appulate is one of a kind, and the way it works and the way it functions is very simple, but it's very high functioning, and it does a ton of things in the background to make your life easier. If you've got people at your agency, like a CSR or other agents that are struggling in their workflow to automate their processes or make them faster, they're spending a lot of time on submissions or logging into various portals and rekeying information. Well, that's what's taking up all your time. We want to free that time up. And I want to show you some numbers that I came up with that actually back that up a little bit better. If we only save you 5 minutes, which I think the average time that we've calculated saved by Appulate based on what our users are telling us is at least 5 to 10 minutes. A lot of users, if you're submitting to many different markets, are saving a whole lot more time than that. I mean, even up to half an hour to an hour in some cases. But I don't want to go by the best case scenario. I want to say at a minimum, we're going to save you 5 to 10 minutes. If the average time per submission takes 37 minutes, we save, I'm going to say 5 minutes, and we get over 10,000 submissions processed through Appulate each month. We're actually saving the insurance industry 600,000 minutes a year, just at 5 minutes. And yeah, that's a big number. Actually, it's more than a year each year. Each year has 525,600 minutes in it, and we're saving well over that. So I think that's kind of a fun number. I like to throw that around because it's just so big, but it is accurate, and it's absolutely going to save you a ton of time. In fact, I went ahead and broke it down a little bit more. Off the average agent salary, we're saving each agent about $400 a year in time and in money. And this is really important because Appulate is actually free for retail agents to use. All of the tools in it, except for a couple that we offer in our premium version, everything from A to Z for you to uplink your cord and submit to your markets, which are our partner in markets, it's all free. So that being said, if you're saving time, you're saving money. And we have over 28,000 agencies in Appulate currently right now who are registered and know about us and are appulating it. So I think that that's pretty important, and that's important for you guys if you're looking for a software out there that's going to make a difference for your agency. So what if you have an AMS already, an agency management system? I get this question a lot because it seems like people think that Appulate is an agency management system, and we're actually not. I call it a submission management system because, again, it supplements your workflow. We work with any agency management system. That actually is what makes us a little bit different. If there are companies out there doing similar technology, they often do a part of what Appulate does and not the 10 other things that Appulate may do that other technology isn't using. And one of those things is to integrate with any agency management system out there, and that's critical. If you have an agency management system, you want to continue that flow so you can use your agency management system, uplink into Appulate, submit to your multiple markets, and be done and have good data, good saved information in your system so that next year, if you want to send to a new market or if you want to resubmit or renew, everything's in one place and ready to go right there. And I think that's really important. It would be for me if I were an agent. I want to make sure I have good data everywhere and that all my technology is talking to each other and working together. And we make sure that that's a big part of what we do. I added this in here kind of at the last minute because I don't want to leave it there. I want to show you exactly what I mean. When you download the Uplink driver so you can Appulate it, you want to make sure that you download the one that's specific to your agency management system. So I'm going to show you that right now. So as that comes up, there's actually going to be a drop down where you can specify which agency management system you have. We've developed a driver for a ton of them, if not all of them, and they're right here. So if you're logged into Appulate, you actually go up here to Tools. There's a drop down. You'll select Appulate Uplink. You'll choose the driver that pertains to your agency management system and download that driver. If you used Appulate a long time ago and you haven't done this in a while, if this screen looks different, come back in here and update that driver. I know some of you guys probably downloaded it where it does that automatically. but it's not going to hurt to come back here and make sure that's correct. Or if you've changed to a new agency management system, or if you feel like it's not working properly, come back in here and just download the latest driver. That's super important. So I'm going to come back in here, move on to the next question. Is it expensive? I kind of touched on this already. No, in fact, it's the opposite of expensive. Sometimes people get a little weirded out when we say it's free. I certainly do. Sometimes you go out there to technology companies, they say, here's the whole package and it's free, free, free. And then you go in and you find out that they've restricted it to just some of the features and you don't have access to everything, or it's only a free trial for a month. Well, when we say it's free, and you're still getting a ton for your time and your money. Even if you were spending money on this, you're getting a lot for it. I can tell you that. There's a lot of features within Appulate. We do make money. We make money off of our partnerships with our markets, and then they offer, since they're putting the money up, they want to offer it to their agents for free. So that you guys don't have to spend money on it. They know they're going to get a lot more submissions. They're going to be a whole lot more tech friendly, and they know it just to submit to them is just another click away. You're not going to have to create a new application for them. You're not having to log into their portal and enter all this information again. All you have to do is click submit, and it's going to do all the work for you. So they know it's totally worth it. And for you guys, all you have to do is spend the time putting it together, learning it, and moving forward. And we already know that that's not such a big commitment. So let me just go through the information I have right here. I might be a little bit redundant, but your markets have partnered with Appulate and made the financial commitment so that you don't have to, like I just said. You can submit to our partnered markets, use all of the standard tools, and automate your submission process for free. So again, everything within Appulate is free. We have a Producer Connect premium version with additional tools such as WebLink, which allows you to have access and submit to markets that we have not partnered with. We've still created a browser plugin to make that workflow pretty simple and efficient. We have email submission, so if you have a market that is not super well known, we haven't had a chance to partner with them yet, you can still send them a package of the submission documents that Appulate creates in the background and track that submission within Appulate. We also have a loss runner tool that's available, which a lot of people end up getting the premium version just for that reason, because it's so cool. And what it does is it allows the retail agent to request loss runs on behalf of the insured, track those loss run requests, customize the loss run request. You can do all this, again, automating that process as well, which is kind of an overlooked piece of the submission process, which tends to take a while. You can set up reminders to remind you to follow up on those requests. You can request broker of record letters. There's a lot of stuff that you can do in that system. We wanted to add some really cool tools in there so that you're still getting a lot for your money if you end up buying the premium version. And it's still not very expensive. It's as little as $100 a month for up to 10 users. And prices all vary depending on how many users you have, how many locations you have, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and keep moving on. Do you work with my markets? Well, I'd say probably. We have a lot of markets within Appulate that we're already partnered with and we're working with, and of course in many different ways. So I'm going to go through that here in just a moment so I can show you how you can look up if your markets are partnered with Appulate and at what capacity. The different ways that we work with our markets are through e-submission, Appulate submission, WebLink, which I just touched on a little bit, and email submission, which I just touched on a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about these first two, and I'm going to show you how you can actually look at them. You can get to this link from our home page. You'll see a little link for Appulate Market Directory. I actually brought a tab so I can show you that here. If you come to appulate.com, click on any of these tabs, or if you're a producer or retail agent, go ahead and click on Producer Connect, and you've got a bunch of links down here. One of them right here is the Appulate Market Directory, which I'm about to show you right now and has just been released. Another way to look at this is in our submission matrix, which this has always been our go-to to show you how our markets are partnered with us. But we've designed a new feature called our Market Directory, which is going to continue being updated. So hang tight on that. It's actually still really good right now, just being brand new as it is, but we're going to add a lot of stuff. I'm going to tell you what that is. So first, let's go ahead and talk about the different submission types that your markets are how your markets are partnered with us, or maybe not partnered with us, but how we're still integrating with them. Appulate, which is the first one, you'll notice this will actually have a little clover leaf next to each one of these markets, which is our happy little icon right there. This submission type, I'm not going to just read this verbatim, but I want to tell you a little bit about how this works. Basically, this is a partnered market with us that uses our portal. So they don't necessarily have their own portal. They use our interface just like you are. These markets can be anybody from MGAs, carriers, to even markets that have the pin on a special program and are offering a full rate quote bind program within Appulate. We have several of those in there. But at the minimum, we've integrated with this market. We know what their needs and wants are, what kind of questions they need during underwriting. We've integrated that so that it tells you what kind of questions are required prior to submitting. What types of what's their appetite guide, if they're going to accept it or they're going to decline it, what kind of stuff are they looking for? That way, for you, when you're looking at this and you're trying to submit, it's going to tell you right away whether it's been accepted, it's been declined, what the reasons for that are, or what kind of questions they need, or even if they're going to need possible underwriting or further underwriting once you submit it. E-submission is very similar. We've worked with these markets extensively as well to make sure that we understand what their appetite guides are, but they have their own portal. They love our technology, but they already invested in a portal. So how do we make this work? Well, when you submit, it's going to take you outside of Appulate, automatically log you in, and automatically enter all the information that you just entered into Appulate. So you don't have to rekey it. This completely takes over that process where you have to go into carrier portal, log in, key in all the information that you have on an Accord somewhere. Nope, Appulate does all of that for you, so you can forget about doing that again. All you have to do is log in and complete the submission like you normally would. Both of these you would just continue and bind like you normally would outside of Appulate. We've just automated the process from when you have an Accord to when you're inputting the information for those carriers and MGAs. Another thing that's really cool about Appulate submission, to kind of go back here, if you have an MGA that you like to submit to and they're partnered with Appulate, many of them will show you what their markets are. We call them their sub-markets. These are the markets that they would be submitting to. And you actually have a little bit of control like you probably don't have currently, where you can actually select and unselect which markets you want that MGA to send to. That's such a cool feature. It allows you to have a little bit of control. You can see instant indications in many scenarios and for several states. That's such a cool feature. I absolutely love that. Of course, we have web link and email submission, which I already talked about. And just to kind of recap, web link, they have their own portal. They just have not partnered with us, but we've created a way for them, the data to still cross over. So to see which markets work with those different capacities, you want to come up here, select which line of business you're working in. I'm going to go ahead and go to workers' comp. That's the most common one. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and that's going to think about it, and it's going to bring up all the various markets that we work with in that line of business. And you can kind of scroll through. You can see if it's covered in the free version and how it's working, whether it's e-submission or Appulate. And you'll see here we've got a ton, again, that are covered all in the free version. You can go through this for a while. Also, while you're inside of Appulate, let me find my little thing here. If you come in to markets and go to available, this is where you can select the market that you're working with. You can sort that by market type. So let's say I want Appulate submission. I can click on that, and it's going to bring up those markets as well. I can select that by hitting that plus icon, and that's going to move it over here to my selected markets, which is super cool. I can go in here and click on any of these to find out more information. If it's an e-submission, I can click on settings and input my login credentials here. So again, it's going to automatically log me in, take me to their portal, and input that data. I'm touching on that super fast. If you guys ever want to have a little bit more training on that more in depth, please let me know so that we can make that happen. It's very simple to set up your markets and start submitting. It's very easy to start adding markets as well. I'm going to keep rolling. Well, what if my market doesn't work with Appulate? Well, you don't see your market. That's okay. We're always adding new markets. Appulate's a great way for our agents to connect to new markets that are high speed, faster quoting, more tech savvy. Of course, you could always let your markets representatives know that you're using Appulate and you want them to be accessible in Appulate. That'll let them know, yeah, I should probably go ahead and be part of this. They've probably heard from us at one point and had no idea that their agents were so excited about Appulate. I went back. There we go. So feel free to let them know. Also, feel free to try new markets. There's a ton of markets in here that, especially MGAs and wholesalers that use Appulate on a daily basis. They're very quick. They're very good at quoting. They work in many different lines of business. So if you're looking to expand your market database, definitely Appulate's a great way to start there. We have a ton of carriers that are in there. So if you have direct appointments or you're thinking about getting a direct appointment with a new carrier, definitely check out who's using Appulate. Because they're ahead of the pack. You definitely want to check them out. Email submission is always the fallback. If they say no, we don't have Appulate yet, or maybe they're in the process and they accept an email submission, if you get into the premium version, we've got over 3,500 markets actually that we've added in there from all over the United States. It'll create an organized package of documents in the background while you're working, which can be emailed out. That's a super cool feature. Does Appulate write insurance? No, we don't. We're just a technology company connecting the world of insurance for our agents and different types of markets. You're the insurance experts, and our partners are some of the most advanced markets out there. That's just a fact. This means that there's going to be faster quoting, better underwriting processes, and happier clients. And what I mean by that is, again, they're going to set up what their questions are, what are required. It completely eliminates all that back and forth underwriting where you send it out and then they come back and say, oh, we need loss runs for 2012. Oh, darn it, I forgot that. So you send them out. Then they say, oh, we need 10 more questions on this. And then 2 weeks later, they tell you, oh, sorry, we don't take this type of submission. That's so frustrating. So what we do is we automatically have all this stuff built into Appulate. It's going to let you know what kind of documents are required. It's going to let you know if you need to put loss runs in there, if you accidentally forgot them. It's going to let you know what kind of questions that they need. It eliminates a ton of underwriting on their end. I've heard from a lot of them that they're willing to pay better commission for that very reason. It's a lot less work for you and a lot less work for them. And of course, having a faster quote means that you're going to be a more viable agent for a client. And it's going to make them a lot happier too. So I added a little thing here. As an agent, becoming more tech savvy puts you ahead of your competition. We all know that's true. You write the business. We just help you do it faster. I'm going to go ahead and keep moving forward. How do I start using Appulate? Well, that's very simple too. Go right ahead to www.appulate.com/signup. If you're already signed up, feel free to go in. Make sure your company information is all accurate. You want to select which markets you want to submit to, uplink your Accord, and Appulate it, which means go ahead and submit to these markets. Uplink that Accord, get all the data right, add your documents as you need to, and submit away. That whole process is very quick. If you do need any help getting set up, you're stuck at a certain point, you're not really sure how to add markets, you're not really sure how to answer all those questions and get it going, or you just have general questions, again, we are here to help. We have plenty of people who are happy to talk to you and work with you. I do a ton of outreach where I make a lot of phone calls, try to ask if you guys need any help. So if I haven't touched you yet, I probably will, or feel free to touch base with me as well and let me know that you're ready to have some training, or you've got a staff of people that needs to have a demo or something like that. I'm absolutely available to do that. So thank you for your time. I ran through a bunch of information. If you want to see the recording of this, go into the video section of Appulate or on our YouTube channel. We've got an app. All you have to do is type in Appulate. You'll find our channel right there where you can check that out. You can also reach right out to me. That phone number will reach me directly. I am on the phone a lot, doing a lot of training and demos. So the best way to get in touch with me is that calendar link or my email address, which is right here, which is jyarbrough@appulate.com. So I really appreciate it, guys. If you have to jump, I hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and start our question and answer section. I really appreciate your time today, guys. Thank you so very much.